In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some tips for the multiplayer for Halo 2 Classic to get those of you that are new and or returning players started off. So stick around. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here today. Those of you that have been gaming on Halo, the Master Chief Collection, when it comes to the PC platform, have only had hands on Halo Reach and Halo Combat Evolved when it comes to the multiplayer. And while I really do like Halo Reach's multiplayer, Halo Combat Evolved's multiplayer is much more arcade-like, and Halo 2 is a very, very different game compared to Halo Reach and even to Halo Combat Evolved. Now, for those of you that aren't new to the franchise, some of this information may seem redundant, but I'm hoping to help out those of you that are new and or may be returning and just need a refresher course now that you're going to be picking up the title on PC. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now, many players commonly believe that headshots are always better than body shots. However, this is a myth. Shooting at the head doesn't make any difference until the opponent's shields are down. The obvious exception to this rule are the sniper rifles. One headshot with a sniper and it can take any player out regardless of the shield status unless they have an overshield. Therefore, the best strategy is to aim high once your opponent's shields are down. After the shield is down, a single headshot from a number of weapons can finish off a player. When you hit a player's shields, you will see the shields flare. If you don't see this happening, it is best to go in for the final headshot. Certain weapons are coded, such as they cause extra headshot damage to unshielded players. Some of the weapons that feature this headshot bonus are the sniper rifle, the beam rifle, the battle rifle, and the magnum. Now, of course, one of the biggest changes to the sandbox for Halo 2 was the weapon balance, and some of this comes in response to how the first game was balanced when it came to specific weapons. Now, with the Halo 1 Magnum pistol, it has been changed in Halo 2 to not be as powerful, but most people still believe that this is a positive change. The Halo 2 version has some nice new features. It can be dual-wielded, and it has a lightning-fast fire rate. For headshots, when your opponent's shields are down, even at range, you'll find it somewhat effective. But don't use it going up against shielded enemies. All you'll do is just give away your position. Now, the weapon that you're going to start off a lot of matches with, the submachine gun. This one replaced the assault rifle from Halo 1. And this is one of the easiest weapons to find in Halo 2. Because of this fact, you'll end up using it a fair bit. One SMG, though, is not that great of a threat, so try to dual wield them or combine them with a precise grenade throw. Dual SMGs are great for short-range fights, but for spraying and praying opponents who attempt to move in on your position, you're going to want to make sure to keep them close to fairly short range. Now, the shotgun, of course, is a powerful weapon, and the range from Halo 1 to Halo 2 has been greatly reduced. I would say if you're not within melee range, then don't even attempt to try to shoot an enemy with it, even at a medium to short range. You're going to want to be up close, and like I said, if you can't actually melee the person with that weapon, then I wouldn't try to take a shot off. Otherwise, you're just going to be giving away your position. Now, when it comes to the weapon that you're going to want to stick with the most, and the weapon that is the go-to weapon is the battle rifle. Now, the battle rifle is pretty much a combination of the Halo 1 pistol and the assault rifle, just due to that it's a 3-round burst, but it also has a zoom feature and is great at extended ranges, medium ranges, long ranges, short ranges. It's pretty much the utility weapon that you're going to want to use. Now, one of the weapons here that I would like to mention and put a little bit of a focus on is the Covenant Plasma Pistol. Now, this weapon was generally pretty much overlooked in Halo 1, and just picking it up and trying to use it on its own just by pulling the trigger on Halo 2 is fairly dismissible. The key and the value that lies in this weapon is keeping it in its overcharged burst state. So just holding down the trigger and charging up the gun. You can hold that for as long as you want and the gun will never fire. The battery never runs out. This was something that was added later in Halo 3 and in Halo Reach and Halo 4 and pretty much every Halo game from then forward, just to kind of balance out the weapon. Now, the plasma burst that charges up has a ridiculous homing ability to it as well. Now, you'll notice that when moving in, the targeting reticule doesn't even need to be red. and you can actually fire the bolt at an enemy just before their gamer tag appears above their head too, and it will follow them to a pretty good degree, curving around corners and moving up around items just to hit that enemy. Now, if you're dual wielding, you can use a number of different weapons in order to have a quick kill after shooting the plasma burst at an enemy. You can use the pistol, again, which has extra headshot damage. You can use the SMG, or what is commonly known as the noob combo, which people have been ostracized for using, and I understand why. But to me, it does take a modicum of skill in order to pull this off successfully multiple times over a match. So you're going to charge up the weapon, you're going to fire it, and then before the bolt even hits the enemy in front of you, you switch to your battle rifle or even to the Covenant carbine or to a pistol if you don't want to dual wield the weapon, and shoot your gun at the enemy at the exact same time. Both projectiles will hit the enemy at the same time, causing an instant death. Now, I remember playing this on the original Xbox, thinking that people were cheating because on the original Xbox, hacking and cheating was rampant, especially up at the high ranks when playing at a competitive level. But having understood that this plasma bolt will take out even an overshield makes this weapon a very, very valuable weapon, and something that if you're dual wielding, or if you have a long-ranged weapon like the battle rifle or the Covenant carbine, I highly recommend you pick it up and use in order to give yourself an advantage over the other player. Now, when Halo 2 was released for the first time, we saw the capabilities of having destructible vehicles. Previously in Halo 1, the vehicles were indestructible, and when somebody got into a vehicle, a lot of times it was pretty hard to get them out. Now, what you can do is a couple of different things depending on the vehicle that they're in. You can carjack somebody just by holding the action button that you use to pick up and reload. You will then jump into an animation kicking either the opponent out of the Ghost, or pulling them out of a tank, or pulling them out of the Warthog. You can also, depending on the vehicle, blow it up with one shot. Now, when it comes to the Ghosts, they have a gas tank that is on the left side. It's a round silver cylinder. One shot with a sniper rifle or a couple of bursts with the battle rifle, and it's going to blow up, and it's going to give you the instant kill on the enemy in that vehicle. Now, as a couple of old tricks from the original Xbox version make their way into the Xbox One and the PC version, if you're ever stuck at a blue loading screen constantly while that screen is on, if you're about to engage an enemy, and this has happened to me previously before many, many times, where you're about to move in for a melee kill, or you're about to move in to make your first melee attack and then follow up with a shot from a battle rifle or a dual-wielded pistol combo, continuously, while that blue screen is there loading, continuously tap the melee button, because when the game loads back up, just seconds before the screen comes back, you're already going to be meleeing, so it's possible that you might actually kill the enemy that you were going in for to begin with before the game even reloads itself. Now, the sword combo punch is something that is a pretty fun move. It's when you have the sword, and try this sequence, you trigger melee trigger, and this effect is 3 hits with the plasma sword. It isn't as deadly as the lunge, but it's far more interesting. The first time someone did this to me, my jaw dropped, and I immediately tried to figure out what had happened. Now, if you're ever caught in a lockdown situation, you can do a quick melee attack just as you spawn, and this will move your head and maybe just enough to throw off a spawn camper. And while we're also here referencing the plasma energy sword, there's also a little bit of a pro tip here as well. Whenever you have the energy sword, something that if you've played previous Halo titles or you've been playing Halo Reach on the PC, you may not be aware, but when playing, the weapon that you have as your secondary shows up on your back. So if you have a sniper or a rocket, an enemy that sees you running at them, if you don't have that power weapon equipped, they can still see it on your back and pretty much discern that when you get close enough, you're going to use it on them. Halo 2 does not have that. Your secondary weapon is hidden from view, so you can use this to your advantage. I've done this quite a few times when using either the sword or the shotgun, where an enemy sees you, I'll shoot at them with maybe the SMG, and then I'll run around behind a corner or run back behind something so that my view to them is obstructed. But I'm waiting over there behind the item or behind the wall with the sword or the shotgun or even a rocket launcher, and when they come around the corner, boom, they're dead. You get your kill. That is what I like to call feinting or baiting, And this is going to become, when you're playing Halo free-for-alls in a bigger map, one of your best strategies is to lure an enemy in to you when you have an overpowering weapon that you can one-shot them with. Now, one thing that you're going to want to realize right off the bat, whether you're a new player or a returning player, is that Halo 2 is buggy as hell, and this is the retail release. Not speaking of the MCC version or the PC version that is going to launch with its own host of bugs and issues. One thing, though, that the community had discovered very early on was a combo called BXR, a button combo. And this is your melee, your reload, and your firing. Now, essentially what this does is you melee an enemy, you hit X to reload, but then you hit fire, canceling the reload animation. And if you can do it in fast enough succession, it is essentially what looks like a one-shot kill. And this only works once before you load. So once you do the BXR combo, you're going to have to reload your gun, but when it's done properly, it is just an instant kill for whoever you're going after or whoever's coming after you. Now keep in mind that Halo 2 is a highly competitive first-person shooter multiplayer game. It relies heavily on aim accuracy, teamwork, and a great deal of map knowledge and sandbox experience. Now, don't get discouraged if you play this and get completely crushed. As long as you practice, get the maps down, get the weapon balance down, and learn how the game is played, you can most certainly succeed. Now this, of course, just barely scratches the surface of strategies, weapons analysis, and maps when it comes to just Halo 2 Classic. So if you guys do enjoy this type of video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys are new around here, consider subscribing. I upload content weekly. Don't forget to check out the links in the description, as I got my social media, and support for the channel is there as well if that's something that you're into. But until next time, everyone, thank you all for joining me here today, and I'll see all of you in the next video.